Hello, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Hannah. I am here with the Upper Chichester Library. We are here for a crochet tutorial. Let me adjust. Sorry, I'm in a different location than I normally am. However, my timer just reset. I don't know what that's about. We always do that. Hello, my name is Hannah. Welcome to Crochet Alongs with Hannah. I am at the Upper Chichester Library. I'm sorry if I am repeating myself, but my camera is just now telling me that I'm going live. It rebooted itself. So don't worry, you're not lagging, it's me. We have a lot of stuff going on coming up, and I wanted to go over that with you before we get into the crochet tutorial. I do have quite a few classes scheduled with these live streams. Today we're going to be doing the easy scarf. I am going to show you the basic pattern that we've already covered, but if you've been following along with me, I'm going to show you a few more stitches that you can use to make this basic pattern just a little bit more fancy without too much work. But I am going to start from the beginning for those of you who are just joining. If this is your first time, this is a good place to start with an easy scarf. It'll get you used to chaining. It'll get you used to single stitches. This is where you want to start at if you're just learning to crochet. Friday, November 19th, I will be doing a baby blanket tutorial. It is a 12-pointed start. It's called the Rainbow Ripple. It's beautiful. I will have a sample piece for that. I do have a full-size one that I made. It's not a baby blanket, it's a full-size blanket, but you'll be able to see it, and I'll have it here for a little while if you wanted to stop by and see it in person, because sometimes seeing it in person helps out a lot when you're crocheting. The same thing with everything that I'm making on my tutorials. I am going to have sample pieces here for you to come and look at, should you want to come look at one that's physical that you can see and touch and look at. Friday, December 3rd, I'm going to be doing quick Christmas ornaments. Couple of stars, a Christmas ball, a few other things, holiday themed. I even have some little crocheted holiday lights that are cute. They're quick, they're easy, they're festive, they're great for quick decorations to just put around your home or wherever you want to decorate. And some of them are good for all year round. The star is really cute. You can hang them in your window. Stars are not holiday specific. They're pretty. They're twinkly. You can decorate a nursery with them just high up so that the little ones don't get the strings. That's not what we want. And then the December 17th, I am going to be doing a neck warmer cowl. It looks like a turtleneck, but it sits flat under a coat. You don't have to worry about scarf ends flying around, getting stuck in your coat and all that. I like those. They're a lot nicer. Next up on the agenda is we have two different programs for little ones on Mondays via our Facebook page. We have story time with Miss Nancy, and then we have books and babies with Miss Sarah. They are uploaded to our Facebook every Monday, and they're also on our YouTube. So you can go to our website, upperchichesterlibrary.org, and click on Upper Chi Live tabs under event. And it'll take you to our playlists of programming videos. There you'll find older story times as well as the new ones. You'll find Miss Teresa's art programs. You'll find my crochet tutorials. And everything else that we have uploaded to Facebook is also going to be able to be found on our website. Just because if you don't have a Facebook and you don't want if your little ones are watching, you don't want them messing around on YouTube, you go right to our website. They're there. All of our programming that is uploaded is child friendly, so you don't have to worry about anything. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a little bit of a fundraiser going on. It's our Jingle Bell designer bag raffle. We have 3 different designer handbags. We have a Michael Kors bag, a Coach bag, and a Kate Spade bag. The tickets, there's going to be 3 winners, 1 person per bag. And the winner will be chosen December 11th. It's a Saturday. It'll be drawn after the conclusion of Upper Chichester Township's holiday parade. So if you would like to grab your tickets, stop by the library. We have them here. They are $5 for one ticket, or you can get 3 tickets for $10. It's going towards our running costs. So if you want to help us out, feel free to buy some tickets. You know, they're beautiful bags. They're here. I've seen them. They're gorgeous. Feel free to stop by. Get those tickets. We'll be selling them up until the day of the raffle. Next up, November 10th. It's a Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. We have a local author that is going to be doing a Zoom book discussion on the book that she wrote, Finding a Soul for Love. Her name is Lucinda Johnson. Excuse me. I can't talk today. Her book is really good. I think you'll enjoy it. Please feel free to email the email address that is in the event post on our page to sign up for that. And next we have live streams coming from Mr. Andrew. I'm going to put a link to his Facebook page on ours. He is hosting his live streams from his home via Facebook. It's highly interactive. It's a great time for little ones. I feel like you will definitely enjoy it. Please, as soon as I am done this tutorial, I will post his link so you can get to his live streams. And he's great. You'll love him. Kids love him. He's very popular here. Give him a chance. Go check out his page. You should be able to find it by looking for Mr. Andrew's Play on Music on Facebook. But I am going to link it to our page too so that you can find it easier. You know, sit your little ones down to watch him. He's fantastic. And that is what we have going on here at the Upper Chichester Library. Let's get into the crochet. I'm going to go over the crochet kit. I do this every video, but you never know who's watching for the first time. So we're going to get into that. And I apologize if you hear background noises like the printer or something today. You might even see my coworker come in and look for stuff because I'm in the office and, you know, I had to switch locations. It was unplanned. But it is okay. We will adapt and overcome, won't we? All right. So every crochet kit, these are free. You can stop by. We have plenty of them. You can come pick one up. They are free. It comes with a full-size skein of yarn. This is Brava yarn. This is a worsted weight. Excuse me, my camera is inverted. I'm not used to that. This is a worsted weight yarn. It is 100% acrylic. It's hypoallergenic, and I have a variety of different colors. You can't really see this color. It's kind of a very bright pink. It's very pretty. We have other colors. We have colors that'll fit literally anybody. Also in the kit, you will get a 5mm or H hook. You'll get a darning needle. If you're going to let a child crochet, please take this. Please. It is plastic. You know, it's not, but it's still, it's got a sharp edge. It's, just please take this out of the bag if you're going to let a child try this. You know, and then it comes with some how-to guides. I've got stuff to help you figure out what, you know, just some little things that I have learned along the way that I figured would help somebody new. This chart right here will go over different weights of yarn and explain what hooks you're going to need for those. And your pattern might call for a different hook than what is recommended here. Go with the pattern hook, always. It's also got some conversions for stitch names, and I do have a crochet guide. These is commonly asked questions for beginners. It's great. It shows you how to hold your hook. It shows you up close visuals of different stitches. But if you have trouble with anything that I am going over today, feel free to stop by and ask for help. If I'm here, I will gladly assist you. Excuse the phone. There's also crochet patterns in the kit. Like, you're going to see all the patterns for all the tutorials that I have done. Or am planning on doing over the next few classes. They're all in one kit. You don't have to you know, say, hey, I want this one, I want that one. They're all there. And even if you don't plan on doing all of them, if you know somebody else who crochets, pass them on to them. You know, they're here, they're printed, they're in the kit, enjoy them. And everything here makes great gifts, everything. This is a sample piece of the scarf that we're going to be doing. I did this one in a half double stitch just because it is easier to show you on camera, and I have a white yarn today so you can see. And that is pretty thick. You know, good half double stitch is really thick and it's super warm. So that is what I made that one from. I am going to start today. Let's see, the last tutorial, I could not find my center pull. And I just dropped my crochet hook. You know, crochet lessons with Hannah are kind of fidgety, but it's okay. Welcome to my life. Excuse me 1 second while I pick that up. All right. I'm going to go back to the basics. This is how we're going to do things. Slip knot. You are going to, I'm going to put my hook down. You're going to take your yarn. You're going to fold it over like that. For a scarf, I like to have a 6-inch thread hanging from the other end, just so I can, if you're planning on sewing this together and turning it into an infinity scarf, you want more than that. But 6 inches is a good place to start for a tail for a crochet piece scarf. You can weave it in at the end. You take it, you have your shorter edge on the inside. You're going to rotate that. Kind of looks like a ribbon now. You're going to come down here. You want to grab at, you're still going to hold on to that tail, but you're going to pull on that side to pull it up. And now we have a slip knot, and it is adjustable by this shorter piece if you did it the way I just showed you. You can tighten that to fit around your hook. Oh God. Hopefully I didn't, that my computer's acting weird, I'm sorry. It almost ended my live stream. All right, so we're gonna put our crochet hook into our slip knot. And you don't want it so tight that you can't move the knot around the hook. You want it looser, because if you can't move the knot around the hook, your stitches are gonna be way too tight. You're not gonna be able to work in them. You can't crochet too tight. One, your project is gonna break. It's gonna stretch out the yarn too far, and it'll eventually snap. You don't want that. And like I said, this is a good place to start because we're going to start with chaining. And chaining is one of the best things to practice when you're just starting. Just chain and chain and chain. Pull the chain back out. Redo your chain until you get the right tension and you get the rhythm of the crochet itself. To start chaining, I'm going to angle this just slightly so I can show you. You're going to find the way that holding the crochet hook works for you. This is how it works for me, but okay. You are going to yarn under, or go under your yarn so it looks like you have 2 on your hook. You're going to grab, I hold the tail with my thumb, and then you're just going to glide that tail. See, I made mine too tight. You're going to glide that tail over your hook. That first one's always fiddly. I'm going to show you that again. You're going to yarn under or yarn over, and then you're just going to glide your hook over. See, that is popping right through. My angle is a little off today. Over, yarn over, pull that through, yarn over, pull that through, yarn over, pull that through, yarn over, pull that through. We're starting to form a tail. This is your chain. This is the the basic beginning point, yarn over. It looks like you have 2 loops on your hook. Take your tail, pull it over. Okay, now, like I said, you've got to find out how to hold the hook. My little guide has different methods. This is mine. It's not in the hook, in the packet, but that's because, you know, I've had a few hand injuries, and this way just works best for me. This is the way I can ensure I can crochet without causing more trauma to my hands. And I'm really quick this way. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And you're just gonna do that. The written pattern that I have calls for 250 chains because it works by length. And I chose one that works by length specifically for people who are just beginning. However, if you have crocheted before, you can go by width. It is quicker than going by length. Going by length is a little bit daunting sometimes. So I'm not going to crochet all 250 chains. We'll never get through this tutorial. So I don't even know how many I have right here. I'm going to show you how to count your stitches. You're not going to count the one that's on the hook. That does not count as stitch 1. You're going to start with the one under that. And you're just going to, you know, I guide my finger down because you can kind of feel a knot at the end of each stitch. Count all the way through those. Okay, I'm going to back a few of these out just because I don't want to be here all day. Mine does not have to be perfect. See, over here, I crocheted way too tight in the beginning. That's what you don't want, because I'm going to have trouble going back through those stitches. To start your second row, excuse the phone again. I need to figure out how to silence that, but it's okay. We are going to, I'm going to show you how to do a single stitch first. You're not going to crochet into this first stitch right here. You're going to crochet into the second one. What you're going to do is you're going to stick your hook through that stitch. Again, you have 2 loops on your hook, and you're going to repeat the same motion you did when you were chaining. You're going to yarn over, and you're going to pinch those 2, and you're going to pull over. Mine escaped a little bit. You're going to go into the next stitch. You're not skipping any more stitches with this pattern. The only time you will skip a stitch, try saying that one, is at the end of each row when you chain up. We're going to go right back into that second stitch. Again, I'm going to yarn over. Now it looks like we have 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to pull through those 2 bottom ones together. See, the more you go through your project, the easier it's going to be to guide your stitches and pull them through. Again, go into the next stitch, yarn over. You've got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and then you're going to pull through those 2 bottom hoops. Next stitch, we're going to go in, yarn over, 2 loops on our hook, pull through, 2 hoops on our hook, yarn over, 3, and you're going to pull through those 2 bottom ones. Just guide your hook down and through those stitches. If you're not crocheting too tight, you should be able to do that just fine. Again, we're going to go through and draw up a loop. You're going to pull your hook through that stitch. You've got 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through. Excuse me, my yarn is jumping around. That's why I don't crochet this way. And you're going to pull through. And you're starting to see your second row form. Mine is a little bit on the looser side because I'm crocheting at a weird angle today. And you're just going to continue on with that. We're going to finish this row with single stitches. If you're just starting out, I want you to keep doing the single stitches. And by all means, if this is your first project, do all 250 chains. Trust me, it'll get you used to the rhythm, and when you're ready to start your single crochet, your second row, it should go a lot smoother. And if you crochet, you know, your chain, some stitches are tight, some stitches are too loose. When you work yourself back through your second row, it'll start to even out for the most part, depending on how loose and how tight you crochet. You see where I crocheted these way too tight before I even get there. I've got a few after that I crocheted a little bit on the looser side, just so I knew I could, you know, pull it that just slightly. You don't want to yank it too hard. You don't want to rip your stitches. You can come through, you're fine. Just keep stitching like Dory says. Just keep swimming. We're not swimming, we're stitching. Keep stitching. We're almost there. And then I'll show you how to start row 3, because this is, yep, my stitches were a little bit too tight. I knew that one, but it is okay. I am not new at this. I can get through it. Pop that through. All right. And there we go. My last one is way too tight, so I'm just gonna sew that in. This is why I leave a tail. If you got a boo-boo, you can always come back. I'm just gonna pull that a little tighter. And that is the second row. Now, to go on to the third one, you're going to chain 1. Just to give us turning room, you're going to turn your work so that you're going back across. And you're not going to go into the chain 1 space. You're going to go into your last stitch of the last row. So you're going to put your yarn through the hoop, and you're going to make sure that you have, when you go into that stitch, you have 2 loops you're going under. There are some patterns that call for back loop or front loop only, but this is not one of them. You want the 2 loops. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through. You've got 2 loops on your hook again. You're going to yarn over and pull through both of those. And you're going to just keep going through that. However, I would like to show you the half double stitch that I was talking about. So I am just going to go through this. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. Of course I do. Keep going, keep going. And you'll see the single stitch with a good worsted weight yarn in the right hook size is still fairly thick. This will be nice and warm as a scarf. If you need extra warmth, if you're like me and you're always cold and you don't do winter or freezy cold, then the half double stitch is what you want to do. I will show you that on the next row. I'm just going to continue on. You can alternate your stitches too. With a project like this, you can change it up to a different stitch every row. This pattern, I know I've done it before, but it is a great place to start, and it allows you the freedom, as long as you keep the same number of stitches and your stitch count is even, always go back and count your stitches. Or count as you go, you know, to make sure your work is even. And sometimes the ends are a little bit tricky. I have had people, and even I did it in the beginning when I was first learning, that I added extra stitches at the end, or I missed a stitch somewhere, and my project started to not look like a rectangle. It started to veer off into a trapezoid or a rhombus or something. It was just awful, but that is just a testament to, I twisted my work a little bit, but we can get through this. We have a fiddly stitch, excuse me. There we go. So you don't crochet too tight. Don't do what I do. And then we have one more. And there we go. We're at the end. I am going to chain one again. I'm going to show you the half double stitch real quick. This is nice and thick. This will be warm. But if the half double stitch builds quicker, so you won't need as many rows. And it's also a little bit warmer. So we chained one. Again, we're not going to go into that chain one space. We are going to go in the last stitch of the last row. Before you go into your stitch, you're going to yarn over before you put your hook into that stitch. You're going to go into that first stitch. You're going to yarn over again. You're going to draw up that loop just like we do with a single crochet, except for now, instead of the 2 loops on the hook, you're going to see 3. Do not pull through these yet. You do not want to just go through these bottom 2. You want all 3 of these to go through your stitch. So you're going to yarn over once again, and now it looks like you have 4 stitches or 4 hoops on your hook. So you're going to pull through these bottom 3. It is very similar to the single stitch. You just have an extra loop you have to work through. So again, you're going to yarn over before you go into that stitch. You're going to go into your stitch. You're going to yarn over again. You're going to draw your loop up. You've got 3. Yarn over. That's 4. You can't really see it because they kind of bunch together when you do that. But you've got 4. You're going to pull through those bottom 3 loops. Yarn over, go through your stitch, yarn over, draw your loop, 3 hoops, yarn over, 4 hoops, go through the bottom 3, repeat, yarn over, go through your stitch, yarn over, pull through, draw your loops. You've got 3 on your hook. Now you've got 4. Pull through all 3, yarn over, go through your stitch, yarn over, draw your loop, yarn over, pull through the bottom 3 loops, yarn over, into your stitch, yarn over, pull through. We have 3 on our hook. Yarn over, you've got 4 now. Pull through those bottom 3. Yarn over, go in your hook, stitch, yarn over, pull through. We have 3. Yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're going to do that until you reach your bottom row. And I am going to show you. You're going to continue on for however long you made your chain. You're just going to do that throughout. So yes, this is the same scarf pattern that I have used in the past. However, you can feel free to change this up. This is a very easy pattern to manipulate as long as you keep the stitch count the same. Whatever stitch count, you know. And that one is by length. It's nice. And if you're trying to make it for a child, make it shorter. If you want to make an infinity scarf that it's sewn together at the end, I will use my sample piece to show you how to do that. It's easy. You can either sew it shut or you can single crochet it shut through back loops, and it won't even be visible to seam. So we're going to finish. And if you are commenting or chatting, I apologize. Facebook has changed the way you see things. I cannot see your comments through a live feed. I wish I could. All right, we finished that row. This is where you want to stop and go back out, catch it, your stitches. If you have this trouble distinguishing your last stitch in every row, sometimes people do, I did in the beginning, sometimes I still do depending on the pattern, get a stitch marker. I have a few here, I just don't have many to give out, but if you don't have one of these handy dandy little gadgets will work just fine. A bread twister, a different color piece of yarn than what you're currently working with. If you can't tell where your last stitch is, put something there to mark it, so you know that's the last stitch of the row. It'll help you to not accidentally add extra stitches or leave one out. It's a great trick. And you can crochet through most of that. Again, chain up. One, you're not going to crochet into your chain. You want to go where your stitch marker is if you put one there, which I am going to remove because it's distracting me. You can do this row even more differently if you want to. And if you want, you can either go in back loop or front loop. It'll give it a nice stripe. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to continue with my half doubles. I'm going to go into, you see where the stitch separates at the top. I'm going to go into the one farthest away from me. Just under that one, I'm going to split the stitch in half and only go into that one. And I'm going to complete my half double. And I'm going to do a few of those just so you can see how they look. You don't have to do this. You can continue on with a single crochet or just a regular half double crochet, but this is a fun trick. Again, that's why I decided to redo this pattern for a live, because I can show you different things that just help jazz up a simple basic pattern. I like using basic patterns because then I can kind of, make them my own. And, it's neat to be able to alter your stitches, especially if you're planning on making more than one item for gifts. You can variate it a little bit to make everybody feel like they have their own unique piece, which is great. All right, so I have completed a few back. Again, this is the half double. You're going to yarn over. I'm going to go in the back loop only. That's where I'm working this round, is in the back loop, and that's the one that's farthest away from you. So you're going to yarn over. You're going to split your stitch. You're going to go under that back loop. That's where you're going in. And if you need help finding that, bring your piece by. I'll help you with that. And I'm going to show you what just going into the back loop does. I would wait a couple of rows. Like if you're going to try the back loop method, do a few rows of the regular stitches, whether it be a single or a half double, go under both, just to give your work some backbone, some strength. It'll help toughen it up. This is a very sturdy stitch. However, for the ends of projects, I like to make sure that it's not going to fall apart if you wash it. Because let's be honest, the yarn is flimsy. This is very strong yarn, but it's only so strong. And again, you want to make sure your tension is not too tight, because if you're crocheting way too tight, you're going to put too much tension on that string. And if you put enough tension on a string, it's going to break eventually. You want something you're making to last a long time. Pay attention to your gauge, like how tight you're stitching things. And if you find that you crochet a little tighter, go up a hook size. It helps. See what this does? By just going into the back loop, you are creating, it almost looks like you braided it along here. It gives it a nice little ridge. It gives it some texture, some pizzazz. Everybody likes a little pizzazz. You don't have to do that every row. You can space that out. I can go through and do a couple more rows of regular stitches and then put a few more rows of back loops. It gives it a nice decorative finish at the end of the beginning and the end of your scarf. It gives it some spice, you know, spice it up a little. And now that I've done that, I think I'm going to play around with a double stitch since we're teaching people half doubles. For that, you're going to chain 2 when you're doing double stitches. We're going to go in here. We chained 2. Again, you're not going to go on either one of these chains. You're not stitching into those. Be careful. You're going to go into the last stitch of your last row. So you're going to yarn over, pop your hook through that stitch. You're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over. This is where it differentiates. You only want to pull your loop, your top loop, through the 2 middle ones. Do not pull through this bottom one. Only go through those 2 middle ones because you want 2 more loops to be on your hook once you pull through that. Yarn over. You've got 3 loops. Pull through those 2 bottom ones now. And I'm going to do another one just because showing you what it looks like off the first stitch that we did is a little wonky. And it's hard to gauge. I did a couple of them now. You can now see the difference in the stitches that we've done. You've got your first row and your chain is just your foundation piece. The first row and the second row, I did single stitches. This third row, I did half doubles. You can see that the stitch looks the same as a single. It's just a little bit thicker. For the third row, I did back loop only half doubles. But for this fourth row, I did doubles. And you can kind of see how that works up with a size variation. And it kind of keeps things from getting redundant when you mix it up a little bit. Make your own pattern. I don't care if you're just beginning and you want to play around with the stitches I just did. Stop by. I will show you how. I really can't wait until we can do in-person classes again. You have no idea how much I miss those. But yeah, this row I am doing the double stitch. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit for you. I yarned over. I'm going through my stitch. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to pull that loop up. I've got 3 on my hook. I'm going to yarn over again. I'm only going to pull through those 2 middle loops. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through those second 2 loops. It's just got, a couple extra steps. Excuse me. I need to learn to English, apparently. English not working. I'm not going to keep you on this live too much longer. I'm going to finish this row of stitches and then I'm going to pull up my sample piece and I want to show you if you want to go the infinity route, where you don't have loose ends, you want a solid piece. I'll show you how to crochet that together. You want to make the infinities. Some people like them thicker, some people don't. I prefer mine on the thick and chunky side, We're just going to keep doing, again, yarn over, go through your stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go through your stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're just going to keep on stitching. Stick to what feels comfortable to you. If you don't feel comfortable enough to advance on the half double or to the double, keep going with the singles. There's nothing wrong with doing a full scarf of singles. I did a full blanket of singles. It took forever, but I did it. All right. And you want to make sure that your ends are even. You see that forms a straight line across my rows. This one does too. And that is what you want. It's going to curl a little bit because the heat of your hands is going to kind of give it a curl pattern, but you can block it at the end. One of these days I'm going to do a tutorial on blocking, but I don't have the resources here to do so right now. All right, so first off, we are going to locate our darning needle. It's right there. I don't know if I'm going to use that, but I need it next to me just in case I decide to. Okay, this is my sample piece. This is just the basic scarf. If you want to turn this into an infinity scarf, you can do that. If I was going to make this an infinity scarf, I would have made this a little bit wider just because. But this, you know, some people don't like that. Now, you can either fold it in half so that there is no twist, or you can give it one good twist around so it's kind of, you know, just give it a good, depending on you, if you want to give it like a little bit of a flare, you can twist it. I'm not gonna do that. It drives me crazy. You're gonna line up your ends so that this is another reason why it's very important to make sure that you have your stitches all evened out. Where are my scissors? Okay, there. Well, they're not my scissors, but I am borrowing them. I need to cut off that little piece I was just working on, the sample piece. I am going to hold my ends down. You've got two sets of ends here. I'm going to hold that down just because it'll keep me from having to crochet those together or sew them in. Again, I'm going to find my center pull. Now, if you're going to do this, don't cut your project if you're going to use the same yarn you're already working with. The only reason why I have a loose end is because this is not what I started this way. This is just me. And you're going to put your hook through both edges. Before you do this, if you want to make it easier on yourself, single crochet all the way around this piece. I would show you how to do that today, but I am lacking time. However, I'm pretty sure just crochet around, even along the edges. It kind of gives you a flat surface to be able to do this with. It'll look flatter. But to sew it together or crochet, I'm going to crochet it together. Let me pull that a little bit tighter. There we go. It's a little fiddly when you're using a different color yarn. And you're just going to go underneath those stitches, yarn over, pull through. Just do single crochets. You can do slip knot too, but I'm doing single crochets. It's a little bit stronger. Just go through each stitch. And you want one single crochet. And you're going through both sides of this scarf, both ends. You want not just one, because that's not going to hook it together. You want to make sure that you keep it even, keep it lined up. And I am using a different color yarn than what I made it in, but I also want you to see what I'm doing. As far as where this, you're just going to go into each end like this with your single crochet. You don't need a double or a half double. You want a nice tight stitch. So either a slip stitch or a single. I'm doing a single just so you can see it better. Normally I would do a slip stitch. But And normally I would also be working in the same color yarn that I used to make the project, just to make it a little bit more invisible. You know, everything needs to be seamless these days. Everybody wants it handmade, but they don't want it to look like it was handmade. I am not perfect. You're going to get the flaws. Okay. And we do one takes around here. We don't do multiple takes to make sure it's perfect. No, we don't do that. We don't have time for that. And on this edge, I'm just going to pop an extra stitch into that edge just to make sure it holds. And it makes it look a little bit more squared off. All right. And I'm going to draw up a loop because I am going to pull this back out. This is my sample piece. But I'm going to invert this. If you're using the same color yarn, you're not going to see that. But that is where we stitched across here to sew it together. You can see it on mine because I did purposely use a different shade of yarn so that you could see what we did. It's less visible on the outside than it is on the inside. It's just like the seam inside a shirt or a pair of pants. You can see the seam. And that is how we turn our basic scarf pattern into an infinity scarf. Like I said, if you wanted to twist it before you fold it up and crochet it together, you can do that too. It helps how it sits better when you're wearing it. You know, I'm not putting this on, but you get the gist. The infinity scarves are cool. You can even do this for ear warmers. Like, that's the best part about this pattern. Make it not so thick. Don't make it as long. Sew it together. You got a pair of ear warmers. This is a very versatile pattern. That's why I love it so much. You can do whatever you want. You can see that I didn't follow no rules. Yeah, the pattern is written there. It's a good guideline. It's a great, it works out beautifully. It's a very simple scarf for people who don't like excessive fuss on their things. I know I'm kind of a plain Jane, so I don't like a bunch of different like textures and designs. I might have to back these stitches out later. Oh, there we go. Back to a regular scarf we go. Thank you for joining me today. Again, if you have any questions or you need help, message me through this Facebook account, message me, send an email through the website, or stop by. We are open. Masks are required. I'm not wearing mine because we may have lip readers. You never know. Hopefully you can read. I'm going to figure out the captions eventually. But I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me again, and I will see you in 2 weeks.